Hey YouTube, Fohnzii here with another episode of Journey of a Grandmaster. This is my third time recording this godforsaken video because I've had tons of issues with Lightworks and my file's been corrupted. And now the file export actually works, but there's no audio in the game. So I'm just going to do the voiceover for this one and chalk it up to a big L, and it is what it is. Hopefully we'll get the next one right. But yeah, this episode is going to be about establishing habits and having fun. So let's get started. Make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends if you enjoy the video, of course. And yeah, let's get into it. So I was having a discussion in the Twitch chat the other night, and feel free to stop by. Link's going to be in the description. We were talking about the amount of time that it takes to establish a habit. I said it takes about 3 to 4 months to build a consistent routine around a habit. However, I also said that if you can't make this routine enjoyable for yourself, you're not going to stick with the habit no matter how consistent you were with it initially. I think there's a fascinating theory around willpower that says that we have a limited amount of willpower that we can expend every single day. If we surround ourselves with temptations or constant challenges, at some point we're going to run out of willpower and we're going to give in to whatever is easiest for us in that moment. This could mean giving into the temptation of chocolate or giving up on a project or goal we set for ourselves because we hate every second of it. The conclusion was that in order to quote unquote exert the most willpower, you must not exert it at all. This is to say that we must mold our environment into something that helps us get to our goals. This would be like throwing away all the junk food in your house so you don't have to look at them every few minutes and make the decision constantly to not eat them. In StarCraft terms, though, this could mean finding a routine that makes the game as fun for you as possible in order to consistently get the amount of practice that you desire or get whatever you want out of the game. There's many different ways we can make playing a video game unenjoyable for ourselves. This could be putting a tremendous amount of pressure on ourselves to perform at our best, or it could be building a story in your mind that you're not good enough to press the ranked button because you're going to get crushed. I won't go too far back into these two because I spoke about it quite a bit in my last episode, but the idea is we can make a game we love into a nightmare to play. We can force ourselves into a routine that doesn't make sense for what we want out of the game. If you recognize this name, that's great, and if you don't, I highly recommend watching some YouTube videos on him or doing some Google research. The man, the myth, the legend, Idra, the foreign Zerg hope, the irredeemable rager, the bonjour of anger. Idra was a guy who was an incredible StarCraft and Brood War player with some great results. He made the transition to StarCraft 2 pretty much as soon as it was released and was committed to becoming a top pro in the scene. He achieved this goal of becoming a top pro in the scene for some time, but ultimately got burnt out on the game and from last I heard, gave up gaming entirely and got swole. The reason he burnt out was because even though he achieved his goal and should have had some satisfaction from doing so, he hated the game. He did not feel the same joy from StarCraft 2 as he did in Brood War. Because of his inability to have fun with the game, he would be seen forfeiting games in the pro scene early into the match, even if he had a realistic chance of winning. He's famous for establishing the Idra GG, and essentially what happened is he quit a game where he had the much better army, but was so tilted he left the game when he would have very convincingly won. He was incredibly tilted because of his view on the balance of StarCraft 2, and specifically Protoss. So, he was basically the Artosis of StarCraft 2, just to put it lightly. It's a sad story, but it's one that we see all the time when we force ourselves into these situations. We want so badly to achieve this goal, but we have this idea that getting there is going to make us happier. It's going to make the arduous journey worth it. All those nights where we endured unhappiness, anger, frustration, depression, so on and so forth is supposedly going to all be worth it once we reach our destination. Unfortunately, this is almost never the case for most of us. I've seen it in myself and I've seen it in others. I mean, you've probably even heard the saying, the journey is greater than the destination, or the juice is worth the squeeze or not worth the squeeze, depending on the situation. And I stand by those sayings 100%. Let me just say, though, that I'm not going to give you delusions that every single day is going to be a walk in the park and that you're never going to experience frustration, even if you do genuinely enjoy the process. You're going to have days where you practice in StarCraft, and 10 out of your 15 games are going to be some and crazy cheese that this guy's been refining his entire life, and has brought it in front of you in the ladder, and you're just gonna have to figure it out as you go, and you're gonna have a bad time while you do it, but that's okay because that's part of it. And that frustration is what's going to teach you later on how to be a better player. It's completely natural that when you take on a massive goal, such as becoming the top 1% in a competitive game, that you're going to run into obstacles. You're going to get frustrated. But if you enjoy the process of getting better and you find satisfaction or happiness or anything about the process that makes you feel good along the way, then you're going to be able to stick to that habit you made for yourself. So since the goal of this channel is to provide value to you guys, whether it be entertaining gameplay, thoughtful discussion, or a game plan that you can create today to make you, better than you were yesterday, I'm going to give some advice that I'd give to my younger self. Try and identify what it is about StarCraft that makes you enjoy playing it. Is it destroying entire mineral lines with Bane drops? Is it building mass Widow Mine to torture your Zerg opponent? Maybe you're the type of sicko that plays ladder like it's a brutal campaign mission, and you build 7 turrets around one bunker to stop your opponent from killing your battle cruisers that you built on 2 base. And I'm talking about my trauma, really. It's just part of the deal. But whatever it is about StarCraft that makes you want to press the play button, go ahead and lean into that. Maybe incredibly heavy macro play is not your cup of tea and you find it a bit boring. Well, then take it upon yourself to find the sickest proxy hatch timing ever and beat people into the dirt with it. What I'm trying to get at is that we all have vastly different personalities. What makes me enjoy StarCraft is not what's going to make you enjoy StarCraft. The way I play is not going to satisfy you the way it does for me. In order to be great, we must understand ourselves first and foremost. I truly love quotes, and I love trying to apply it to my life, so maybe this quote can help you out too. It's by Sun Tzu, who wrote The Art of War. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. There's an importance in figuring out what makes us tick. It'll stump our growth as a person as well as a StarCraft player if we do not take the time to understand who we are, what we enjoy, what we dislike, why we dislike or enjoy those things as well. So if you're struggling to have fun with a game or with a goal that you set yourself, I want you to take the time and try and figure out why that is. I know it sounds so simple, but it's a lifelong journey to understand ourselves fully. How our habits reflect our understanding or lack thereof. So I wanted to mention that I watch HuThermal a lot, like you guys might. And what I've noticed from consuming his content is that people are inspired by his style of play. People say in his comment section all the time that HuThermal has made StarCraft look so fun and that they made them want to get back into the game, which I think is incredible for a game that's been around as long as StarCraft 2 with such a challenging ranked ladder. I think a lot of us fall into the trap of thinking that we must play a certain meta in order to get the results that we're looking for. But honestly, HuThermal is showing that it's entirely possible to get to Grandmaster with the most absurd looking builds.
I mean, Jesus Christ! You just sit there in a fucking arc, you don't do anything, you just make a bunch of gateway units. The hardest thing in the world pushing out of that.
What you just saw is a clip of Artosis. He goes by many names: RD, Artois, the Mario Lover, the Bowser, Beefcake. And one of the things that he's well known for is being extremely dedicated to Brood War. The guy moved to Korea for 14 years to cast games, and he's been playing the video games since its inception in 1998. Artois is a really special guy because he's pretty much a perfect living example of why we should enjoy the process of getting better in order to stick to a habit. Artosis, for the most part, from what I understand, has dedicated hours every night to practicing his Terran gameplay. This guy has been slamming Protoss for decades and has stuck with his guns on Terran since the very start. Artosis understands that he wants to play the game his way, even if his way is in his eyes more difficult. He has not compromised on his way of playing the game just because he feels there's a significant imbalance in Brood War. The pursuit of his Terran perfection has provided RT with immense satisfaction, which in turn leads to a tremendous desire to continue to hone his craft through all the frustration, all the Mario erotica, and all the Protoss cheese being thrown his way. So, in conclusion, if we want to establish a habit, we must first identify how we're going to let ourselves enjoy this habit. We must not force ourselves to take on a habit if it does not provide some inherent joy to our lives. Working out gives us that feeling of satisfaction. Picking up a new hobby like video editing gives you the joy of progress and the ability to tell stories. There's so much we can gain from establishing habits that are healthy for us besides the result of the habit. If you want to join me on this journey to Grandmaster, then you must first identify how you can establish a habit of practicing without burning out. Thanks for sticking with me thus far. The rest of the video is going to be some updates on StarCraft as well as some commentary on the last games shown. Yeah, guys, so I really do appreciate, coming this far. This is the last game that I'm going to be showing in the background of this video. It's a ZVZ on Waterfall. And really quick, I wanted to mention that I've been doing coaching with HuShang every Wednesday and Saturday. It's a group session, and I'm streaming it every time. So that's Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to mark that on your calendar if you want to get, some free content, I guess. But I actually have to, discuss that with him. I don't know if that's cool with him, but either way, I highly recommend HuShang. I'm going to leave his link in the description, like his information, because for the amount of money that he's asking for, he is providing like a sick amount of value. Like, it's actually incredible because, especially with the group coaching sessions, you get to hear the perspective of like all three different races, because we have Protoss players, Zerg players, and Terran players. So you basically watch as the team kind of like plays against each other, and then you get to hear HuShang's feedback, and you get to see all these different styles and all these different points of emphasis that people have to work on. So yeah, man, I can't recommend it enough. It's honestly helped me out quite a bit, even if my MMR is not necessarily a direct reflection of it quite yet. I do believe what I'm learning is going to be paying off in the long run. So also wanted to bounce some ideas off you guys. So I mean, as you noticed, if you haven't been just listening and you've been like watching the video, I've been fast forwarding through a lot of my opening, like the opener of the builds. So if you would rather see that sort of thing instead of like skipping the opener, like the first 3 minutes entirely, let me know. I'm sort of like experimenting with different things here. Let me know what you prefer, obviously. And other than that, I have another idea to like avoid issues on my editing program. Let me know if any of you have used Lightworks before. But essentially what's going on is OBS is causing Lightworks to export corrupted video files. So like corrupted MP4s. So like whatever settings I have on OBS, which are supposedly like the recommended best settings for OBS when it comes to recording, it's causing issues in Lightworks. And I have a fix for it right now, a workaround, and I'll see like if that's worth doing or not. But an idea that I had was that I would play my games every day on stream, record them, and also rename the replays that are most interesting to talk about. So like that's what I did today. I put 3 replays that I thought would be really good for a video, and then I can just record the replays in different files and do them that way to like avoid any issues. I don't know. Let me know if you guys are familiar with like editing softwares. Let me know if you guys have any experience with this stuff. Obviously, I'm willing to take any feedback. I'm a complete beginner at this stuff, so yeah, man. And also, just to talk about this game really quick, it was a back and forth ZVZ, and made a few mistakes, especially with micro. But on ZVZ and Waterfall in particular, I've been experimenting with doing 16 hatch into 16 pool into 18 gas instead of 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. Just because I notice a lot of Zergs on this map, at least from what I've been playing recently, like to go for a really early pool. And if I go 17 pool after 18 gas, it's typically not quite quick enough if they do like a 13 pool. So, and it just requires a lot of finesse with like pulling drones and stuff. So I'm trying to avoid that. But either way, yeah, Zerg ZVZ on Waterfall is kind of tough because if you're late on your buildings, like if you're late on your Baneling nest, and the guy sends like 30 Zerglings, which is not a uncommon occurrence, then you're just out of luck basically. So you got to be really on point. And yeah, this guy has 2 Baneling nests. He just needed that many Banelings. One Baneling nest wasn't enough for producing Banelings. So I mean, it's not even a wall. I'm really confused by it. But that's the end of the game, guys. Thank you for sticking by this far. I really do appreciate it. Again, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Give me any feedback you want, and let me know what you want to see on the next episode of Journey of a Grandmaster. This is Fohnzii. See you later.